Oh, hello. This is the first no-nonsense history revision video. The idea is that each week we'll talk you through the no-nonsense sheet that we're working on in class. So the first one is all about Germany at the end of the First World War and the way in which they set up a new constitution. So the old leader, the Kaiser, fled, went to Holland, and they set up a new set of rules. Parts of it were really fair. So for example, men and women could vote and they got to choose the president. But some old-fashioned people didn't really like it. They felt it wasn't very traditional. They didn't like this new democracy. And also, they often blamed the Weimar politicians for ending the war, for losing the war. This was called the stab in the back. The Weimar politicians were also very unpopular because they signed the Treaty of Versailles. This punished Germany, and they didn't get a say in it. They called it diktat because they didn't get a say. It took away land. For example, the Polish corridor split Germany in two. The army was reduced to 100,000 men, no tanks, no submarines. Money, reparations of £6.6 billion that they had to pay back for the damage in the war, and also blame. Article 231 said that Germany had to accept 100% of the blame. People were so unhappy that they started to have revolts and rebellions. Left-wing ones wanted to share the wealth out more equally between the rich and poor. So, for example, the Spartacists and the Red Rising in the Ruhr. The right-wing ones, well, they wanted a strong army and a strong leader. Examples would be the Kapp Putsch and also the Munich Putsch, which is the one that Hitler did in 1923, and he tried to take over. Things got worse and worse in Germany. They couldn't keep up with reparations, and as a result, France and Belgium invaded the Ruhr. The workers went on strike, and the government started printing money, and the money very quickly became worthless. Kids were playing with it in the streets. This was known as hyperinflation. And it was in the same year that Adolf Hitler tried to take over in Munich. The idea wasn't that he was going to be the leader. They were going to have Ludendorff, the old general, take charge. But it wasn't very popular. It wasn't very well organised. The Munich Putsch wasn't very well organised, and Hitler got sent to jail afterwards. But the publicity he got from being in court was really effective for him. And while he was in prison, he even managed to write Mein Kampf, a book which means My Struggles. But actually, things were starting to go better for Weimar Germany. Things were going very well in Germany. Some people call it a golden age. They were spending money on hospitals and building roads, which gave people confidence. But the trouble is, Stresemann was getting the money from the USA. It was borrowed in something called the Dawes Plan. Some people say that he was only really papering over the cracks, because when America started having problems of its own after the Wall Street crash, they called back the loans and the German economy collapsed.